Hi everybody, this is the last video for my networked learning project. My goal was to master making a pancake. For years my pancakes have been less than appealing. Typically they're sort of rubbery and I've had to pile on the bananas and syrup and strawberries in a valiant effort to mask what I knew to be the truth, which was my pancakes were not so good. So behind me you see the equipment that I'll be using here, from the different measuring bowls and cups to the dry ingredients. I am lactose intolerant, so I'm using soy milk. I have an egg, butter. I found that the recipes I was coming across were not as sweet as I'd like them to be, so I'm adding vanilla in addition to sugar. And then my toppings over here include banana, real maple syrup, none of that Bush League fake stuff, and then some coconut shavings. I did look at a number of different websites to try to find out what I was doing wrong and in previous pancake making experiences, and so initially I just Googled how to make pancakes, and of course that took me down the rabbit hole of YouTube videos. I eventually did what I think probably most of my students do, which is go to the one that was like the second or third and it had more than I think 5 million views. That was from allrecipes.com. I made that recipe and was having the same problem. The pancakes were basically rubbery, and I was really hoping to achieve that fluffiness. So that was my goal. How do I create a fluffy pancake? And so I went over to Reddit and read through different Reddit threads. Didn't find anything necessarily all that helpful. Returned to YouTube, where I found Maddie Matheson, who is a foul-mouthed Toronto chef, as I learned in subsequent research, who now actually is, I think he has his own show on Vice. And when I noticed that he was doing that, I didn't see other people doing, or in other recipes, was he said, don't overmix the batter. And so I hadn't seen that. It was definitely not in the All Recipes recipe. And so my big takeaway, as you'll see later, is I'm not going to over stir the batter. I'm going to keep it lumpy. And as I discovered from Scientific American when I was trying to understand, well, why does over stirring actually create these rubbery pancakes? Is it because it actually has to do with the gluten? So if you're stirring the dry with the wet, so you're actually activating that gluten in the flour. And then if you over stir it though, you create this network where the bubbles from the baking powder, I think it's baking powder, not baking soda, can actually escape. And so you don't achieve that fluffiness. So my big takeaways, you'll find in a second here, is keep it lumpy. I'm going to go ahead and mix all my ingredients, and then I'll return to show you a few other things that I learned in my project. Alright, so we're back. I'm about to pour the liquid into the dry, that little well there. And as I discovered from watching Maddie Matheson, I gotta keep it lumpy. Otherwise that gluten is gonna create a kind of net that won't allow those air bubbles to rise, which would mean I'm back where I started. So I want to keep it lumpy, trying to get that dry flour mixed in, and that's pretty lumpy. So I'm going to keep it right there, and then I'm going to make my pancakes. Alright, so here's the finished product. Got my nice fluffy pancakes with banana, coconut, butter, syrup, and I'm going to have my breakfast. So thank you everyone for watching.